All right, everybody, this is Marcel Pute, the Sports Inquirer, and we're happy to be joined by Ed Joyce, head coach of the Georgia State women's soccer team. Thanks for joining us, Ed. I know your season is about to kick off. Before we get to the specifics of the 2021 campaign, uh, how was this off season? Just the team preparing for this year, and was it different than last year at this time, where there was a lot of uncertainty if a season would even kick off?
They've been fairly similar because obviously the spring of 2020 for us was curtailed. We didn't have much training or any games at all. We played one game before it got cancelled. So obviously the spring of 21 we got to train a lot but didn't get to play any actual outside competition. So it's been a similar preparation, but obviously going into these two exhibition games, one of which was cut short and kind of separated by a lightning delay. And then the Jacksonville State games are the first kind of outside competition games we've had since the last November. So trying to do that, figure out who we are and assimilate new players into the group is obviously the priority at the moment.
Yeah, last year the team won 10 contests, advanced in the Sun Belt Conference tournament to the semifinals. Turning the page from last year, what can you take from your 2020 campaign and then carry it over into this year?
We didn't lose a whole lot. We lost two or three players that played significant minutes for us last year, so we feel pretty good about the continuity from one year to the next. But I think every year, every team has to define itself in a different way and learn who it is, so to speak. So we're kind of definitely in that mold at the moment, kind of learning, who are the 20 to kind of 24 players that make us tick and are consistent over time. Because honestly, that's the hardest part of it. We've got a squad of 33 players, of which all are talented in their own way, and a lot of time it's more about groups of players together than it is individuals. So obviously that's what we're trying to figure out here in the preseason segment, and we'll continue that through the non-conference in an attempt to find out who we are by the Sun Belt schedule.
Yeah, and also changes off of the field, on the field as well. You have a new facility. You're practicing and playing your contest now on MLK Boulevard in downtown Atlanta. How's that move been for the team? And you used to play in DeKalb County in Pantherville, so you've moved miles closer to Atlanta. But how's the facility been and just the adjustments with your preparations for the year?
I think it's been an incredible change, for the girls overall, just to have their day-to-day be in one place. We're able to shorten their day because obviously the travel time is drastically shortened. Be way more efficient. They're able to do more work on their own if they choose to, just getting a bag of balls and going and doing some work on the pitch themselves. And obviously the recruitment standpoint, it allows us to really embrace who we are and what we are, which is an urban school. Night games, we look back there and we've got skyscrapers lit up and Coca-Cola signs and MARTA trains, and it just really allows us to really embrace that, which I think is what our kids want.
Yeah, one second. Yeah, you mentioned playing on the new facility. You're able to get an exhibition game. You face Stetson, able to get a 2-1 victory. What did you take from that exhibition contest and seeing where the team is at heading into the regular season?
Well, we played 29 minutes of what we were determined to be what we do with one group of players, and then lightning struck literally, and we were off the pitch for almost an hour. And then due to some travel constraints Stetson had, we had to kind of rush and get the next game started, the next segment. So it was a little bit disjointed, and it was tough to get going again. But obviously we like to see the fact that we fought back and managed to get the 2-1 win in those circumstances. So it was good. It's an extended training session, really. That's the first time we've got to play what we do against somebody else. So hopefully, carrying it into Mercer, tomorrow.
Well, let's look at the positions and some highlighted players from there. You returned both of your goalkeepers from last year, and sophomore Jada Fus and junior Maria Stuves. What have you seen from their development, and will it be similar this year of playing both of them extensive minutes, or do you really want to establish one goalkeeper and have them play the majority of the time?
I think sometimes it's really hard having really good players. And I think that's where we're at. We've got two very good goalkeepers. And we're challenged. Our staff are challenged every day by them because their levels are really high. They train extremely hard. They're both really good at supporting each other if one of them is in the starting position, but they both want the starting position. So, I mean, we're not really sure how we're going to play it yet. They both had good pre-seasons. I think we'd like to give them both minutes here in the non-conference segment, but every game has to be treated as a separate entity, and every week of training obviously sets them up for success to prove who's going to get that job. So, long story short, we'll see.
Yeah, this is not, you play Mercer tomorrow, but is that really the point of these non-conference contests, to really get everybody in that you can that's healthy and available, just to see where they're at and maybe try some different formations or rotations that you maybe would not normally do when Sunbelt Conference play begins?
I mean, I think you want to know who you are by Sunbelt play. I think the way college soccer is set up, obviously every game counts. Every game counts towards a record. Every game counts towards the RPI, and putting yourself in a position to improve every year. So, I mean, for us, we're going to go out to win every game, and we use them to. I think there is an essence of experiment with different combinations of players once the chips are down and that the games have started. But we attack every game as a one-off. We don't really look 2 games ahead. We look 1 game in front of us and hope to get as well prepared as we can to get that result. I'm a big believer that winning kind of begets winning, and especially when they come thick and fast with 2 games a week, it's important to kind of get started positively, and streaks are hard to break.
Sure. And what about the defensive line? Junior Camry Holloway, all-conference performer last year. She'll be back for you. Just what about that back 3 or back 4, whatever setup you have going, and that unit?
Yeah, we return, a fair few of those. Cam's picked up a little bit of a knock this preseason, so I don't think she'll play Thursday potentially, but we're trying to push her through. But we'll see what happens there. But she's been great. She's a pivotal part of what we do. Fantastic on the ball, makes great decisions, but she's a warrior as well. Like, she never asks to not come out, to come out or to train or anything like that. She's in all the way. So, between her and bringing Lexi Knox back for a 5th year, Eva Diaz comes back as well as a junior also. We've got basically three of the players that did a lot for us last year. So we're thankful to be in that position, and we've got some young players that can really supplement there should we need them to.
Yeah, and how have you worked that through? Because a lot of the players had extra year of eligibility due to the pandemic with 2020. They can come back for another year. How have you balanced that out as a team? You have your freshmen, your new players coming in, but you had some holdovers. How's that been? Is the roster a little bit bigger than you thought it would be, or maybe just a little bit different than anticipated?
It's about the same. I mean, we kept one girl that come back for next year this year. And next year potentially, is a little bit different to that. But the one this year was always. It was nice to get her back. I think Lexi's got great potential to have a real breakout year in her last year here, and who knows where that takes her after she graduates. And does she go abroad? Does she play a little bit at the next level? That's kind of the hope for her. So I think the landscape of college sports in general over the next 2 to 3 years is going to be very tumultuous, with people having extra years, and do they take them here, there, or anywhere? Who knows? Mm-hmm. But for us, we try and focus on the kids that are here now, the kids that are coming in from a recruiting standpoint, and if we can keep players that are invested in what we're doing and help us move forward, then I think obviously everybody's a winner.
Yeah, and what about the midfield? You return Jolie Riff, sophomore, Anna Diaz, who was able to play for the Puerto Rican national team in this past off season. What about that midfield unit and some top performers there?
Yeah, I feel like our midfield coming into the season was probably the one that we were most confident in. We returned all 3 of them, and one of them was all conference, one obviously international experience. And, in our opinion, Emily Burke's probably one of the more underrated players around because she does the stuff that no one notices. So we're really excited for them. I think it's tough when you're a midfielder because you're very much a rhythm and a trend player. So not having games for so long, I think it's maybe a challenge to get going again at times. But they've come in with a fantastic attitude in preseason. They worked hard. They're 3 of our fittest players as well. So they put the work in off the field as well, away from here. So we think they're going to do well. Diaz is, again, a great kid. She's had that experience with the national team. She's raising money for charity. She's doing everything. So, I mean, we're really hopeful that she capitalizes on last year and really pushes forward in a leadership role for us as well.
Yeah, and then your forwards, you return Maddie Johnston, led the team in scoring, all conference performer. Jimena Cabrera, excuse me. She's also all conference performer. So it's like your forwards, you're not have a problem scoring goals, or you have the ability to be prolific on the offensive side of things in that way.
Well, I'll knock on wood there, but no, we like our group up front. Jimena obviously scored. I don't think scored enough goals last year for her own standards. But when she scored goals, they were pivotal. You know, South Alabama goal was huge. The one against Troy in the quarterfinal, sorry, was an amazing strike as well. But she does more than just score goals. She's kind of massive part of our culture. She's a great player in possession. Yeah, she's just a little bit different. Maddie, you know, I think is a different player to last year. I think she's matured and understands her role a bit more than she did her freshman year. She come in really fit, and you know, I think she's hoping to capitalize on last year as well. And then, you know, I think the big surprise to most is that, you know, we're probably looking at Brie Barley, a freshman, coming in and I think really contributing as well. So we weren't surprised because we recruited her, but you know, I think people around the team have been surprised at how seamlessly she's come in and adapted to what we're doing. So I think we're in a really positive place. You know, it's one of those where we've got to focus one game at a time and get these kids back to being used to competing against others. And just back to the grind, which, you know, 2 games a week in this conference in this region is tough with the heat and humidity and the travel and things of that nature. It's, you know, we just hope to, now that we've got an experienced group, to have our older players really help our younger ones deal with that.
Yeah, and lastly, you finally open the regular season at Mercer tomorrow on August 19th. What's the excitement level for the team? Is everyone ready just to get a regular season going and to face another opponent and get this 21 campaign started?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those where it's a long time coming, you know, and it's obviously the first official game of the new facility as well. It's Mercer, so it's a local kind of, I guess you'd say rivalry or acquaintance. All the girls know each other. We usually have a good back and forth game with them, and it's usually a pretty back and forth, to and fro, you know, game. So I think, you know, as games go, it's a good one to kick off the season with because it's going to be quick and the game will be stretched a little bit. So we'll have to probably cycle in a couple more players than we normally would. But yeah, I think they're ready. We'll see. I mean, it's in the last 2 years, I think all we've been taught to do is be prepared for the unexpected. So I think that's what we're going to try and do.
All right, Ed, well, thank you for your time. We greatly appreciate it. And good luck with that season opener at your home opener against Mercer.
Of course. Thank you, sir.